Hello and welcome to Healthy Aging with Gina. I'm very excited. We've got our special guest from last week, Kent Smith, back to give us a whole lot more information on the Camino. You know, if I could get on a plane and pack my backpack, I'd be off in a flash. But we're going to hear more about that after we do our exercises. So, Healthy Aging with Gina. We start with Ageless Grace exercises, and we do them in a firm chair. So if you're sitting in a sofa, get out. Please get a firm chair. We don't want you scooting across the floor, but you want to be able to sit upright. And we're going to do 4 exercises today that are going to be working on our joints. Lots of about this exercises are to do with creativity. So it's playful, so you get to kind of play along with me. And in the process of playing, you are moving your joints, you're moving your body, and having a nice stretch at the end. So that's what we're going to do. So let's roll it and let's start our exercises for the day. Hello. Right, we're going to start this morning with our hands going up and down. Palms up, palms down. So I want you to think about the mirror joints today. So we've got the hands, and then we're going to turn the feet in and out. All right? So just think of what the mirror joints are. So the mirror joints are going to be things like the shoulder and the hip. So now we're going to take the shoulder joint, this joint, we're going to both take them up. Lift them both up. The elbow's going out, knee is coming up. Keep going. We're going to change sides. Maybe one hip's a little stiffer than the other. You just lift anything to the height and range that is comfortable for you. So, then the hinge of the wonderful elbow and the knee. These are 2 hinge joints. So we're going to take this out now, and when the knee goes out, the arm's coming up. Coordination, that's also so good for our brains. This is about keeping the brain stimulated. This is the brain health fitness program, Ageless Grace. Body's got to be balanced. Remember, whatever we do on one side, we've got to do on the other. Change sides. So, hinge, elbow, knee. That's good. Very good. All right, now what about stretching out the toes and the fingers? Clasp, make them go together, stretch them out. Hard to get a stretch in your toes. Worth trying to do this at home. Brain giving instructions. Try it on the other side, see if it's better. So you want the toes and the fingers to open. If mine aren't, don't mind if yours aren't. Come on. So this is what's so interesting when you find the connection between the brain and the instructions down to the toes out, close. Okay, and what about a circle? Circle on the ankle and on the wrist. 2 other mirror joints. Change sides. Always balance body. Very good. There we are. We just kind of got some of these joints going. Just give it a little kick out. Get the hands going as well. Nice. How about a little circle with the elbows? Kind of circle the foot at the same time. I want to get all these joints going. Loosen them up. Get stiff otherwise. Okay, quickly finish up on the other side. Always got to marry the sides, balance the sides. Okay, the next one we are going to do is going to be our spelling one. So it's about thinking of words, and we're going to spell them with different body parts. So I'm just going to choose colors today. Really simple. So we're going to just spell the word black as if we were going to be writing downwards. So you're starting with your finger, big capital letters. So a big B, L, A, lean forward in your chair, C, and then the K. Other side, we're going to do white, W, H, I, T, E. All right? You can always choose colors that are in the room around you, but I'm just going to choose some colors that I can see. So what about green with your elbow? Little letters, so I'm doing cursive. So that's a little curly G, R, E, E, N. Now to keep the brain awake, how about trying to do that backwards? So we start with the N. No, yes we do. N and then 2 E's, and then an R, and then that G. So we spell green backwards. Right, it's great to also use the tummy because then you're using the whole of your core. We're going to spell the word turquoise. Capitals, capital T. So imagine you're having to write as if your tummy button was holding a pen. T-U. If you don't spell it right, remember no one can see. I think that's a Q there, Gina. Turquoise, Q-U-O-I-S-E. All right, what about blue with our foot on the floor? Big capital letters, B, L, U, E. Balance, balance, we're going to spell pink quickly on this side. As I said, no one can see the spelling, so that really doesn't matter. Okay, the next one, again, using creativity. I've just got a lot of friends who are sending me pictures from snowy places in Europe, so it kind of just made me think of maybe we do some winter sports. How about skiing, cross-country skiing? So we've got our poles, we've got our feet flat in the flat skis, so it's like a little slide. Might be difficult to do on the carpet, but again, just imagine. So cross-country skiing. So you've got your poles and you've got your skis on your feet. Right, now you're coming to a little slope, so you've got to kind of be turning. I don't know if you've ever skied. It's a heck of a long time since I did. I think I was I won't even go back how many years ago it was, but let's just say it was a lot of years. And I remembered you've got to push down, give yourself some momentum. I do remember about having to kind of open you've got to bend the feet and bring the kind of poles together. Very good. What about skating? I used to love ice skating. So imagine you've got your skates on your feet, you're pushing off. Maybe you're going to do a little turn. Showing off on the ice, go back the other way. Very good. And of course, the greatest fun of all, out in the snow, when you get out there, is you want to get out and get snowballs going, make a little pat and get to throw it. Sorry if that hit the cameraman right in the face. And again. Come on. Snowballs. All right. We're going to get back on those, slip those feet back into your skis, grab those poles, and off we go again. Cross-country skiing. Wonderful. Gosh, I'm all warmed up now. Now, the last one that we're going to do today is just do some stretching. So we've been seated, but we've been moving lots and lots of things. So we're going to start with a nice stretch to the side. I want one hand on the waist, one arm up in the air, and we're going to just dip. Stretch it out and hold it. So these exercises are all now about a stretch and a hold. And next we're going to take our arms up overhead. And I want you to imagine that you are making a big Y and you're looking up. You're going to take these hands now together. You're going to interlock them. Turn them inside out, stretch them right up, look up. And now you're going to stretch it out from your shoulders. So you're looking at the back of your hands if you can, if that's comfortable. If it's not comfortable to hold them like this, just hold them like that. You're going to let the arms go. Stretch them behind you. Think angel wings. One arm forward, one back. And the other side. Roll these shoulders. Oh, it's amazing. 10 minutes. Should be feeling nice and limber. Right, I want you to stretch one leg. Now, you can either hold it underneath, depending on how fit you are, or hold it in front. And you're just going to rotate that ankle. And the other way. And the other leg. Bring that up nice and close. Round with the ankle. And then you're just going to put the feet together on the floor. Just let these legs drop open so you're getting a bit of a stretch right from the inner thigh and the groin. Woo. Feet nice and flat now. I want the hands out to the side. You're going to bring them in front and you're just going to give yourself a hug. Probably the one thing in the last year that everyone's missed more than anything else, being able to go up to a friend or family member and just give them a big hug. So hugging yourself is important. Open again, bring the arms down, big breath out. There we are, that's our 10 minutes of exercises. So if you're ready, I'm going to have a quick break and I'm going to gather up my special guest, Kent Smith, and let's hear some more about the Camino. Well, welcome back to Healthy Aging with Gina and to my special guest, Kent Smith. We started the journey, the pilgrimage of the Camino in this discussion last week, and I'm so looking forward, Kent, to getting a little bit more information from you because just having the opportunity to chat with you, I am one of those who knew a little bit about it, and it is my hand going up saying, I want to do this. And it's lovely to talk to somebody who's done so many and who's well experienced. So I know one of the things is there are very different types of accommodation. So I think people need to have an idea. We're going to talk about what they need to kind of take and where you've said it needs to be a light backpack and things. But the different types of accommodation that you can have. I think you told me that you can get very, very large dormitories. Share a little bit about what it's like to stay in one of the hostels en route.
Well, my very first stay was in Roncesvalles, the beginning of the Spanish Camino, and I went into sleep, and throughout the night I would wake up to the beautiful symphony of many, many people snoring, and it wasn't disruptive because there were so many that it was so musical. There were 110 people in that. That's one of the biggest in one large room. 110. Yes, but many of the others are dormitories of 4, 6, 8 people in double-decker beds. That's considered
male and female, most of them. A lot of these big ones.
That's true, and often sharing bathrooms and shower rooms and whatnot. Often. But yes, and then the next step up, of course, is what everyone has a choice of doing in terms of pensions, hotels. You can do whatever you wish, and of course the bottom of the line is camping. But then you have the extra weight, you don't have the backup. It's for the hardy. But the nicest one is the middle way of the alberga, they call them, where you have hot showers, a communal kitchen in most cases, and a nice bed to put your sleeping bag on.
That sounds very civilized. And I think the one thing our modern high-tech audience would probably want to know is that there's an electricity point to be able to plug in the infamous phone or the camera or something. One's got to have power somewhere to be able to stay in touch with the world. You're saying that they're set up for technology as well.
Absolutely. I've watched it change over the years, where I used to use a pay phone once a week to phone home in South Africa, to now most beds next to your pillow will have a plug, and most albergas have Wi-Fi. So it's very, very changed now, and I've been asked to even see what it would be like to try and live the way it used to be. But I'm not sure if I'd be able to do that. I'm too hooked on all these modern things.
I think we all are, aren't we? But at least we get to shred them quite a lot. We're not traveling with the laptops and things. Because of the weight, you want to take as little as possible. So, and for most of us, the smartphone does everything, doesn't it? It acts as the camera as well as the phone, as well as if we do need to touch base with our email.
Absolutely.
Although one does think of the Camino as being as an opportunity to shed a lot of that kind of modern life. But so it's interesting when you've done both, even you admit it would be hard to leave it behind.
And yet, I sometimes wonder, have I lost something?
Right.
But it doesn't really worry me, but it's always a question there.
And money, do you tend to travel with cash? Do people, I know one's always worried about security and theft and things. I know most people have those kind of pouches, don't they, for their passports and the essentials. I'm sure they're talking about technology, ATMs where one can draw cash. What is the kind of common way that most people get by of paying for things?
Well, you're right. ATMs and a money belt, and most places don't take credit cards, so you do need money with you. I don't mind having quite a bit of money on me, and because it's very safe on the Camino. But it does happen. I've been with people who woke up in the morning and their 2,000 Rand was gone. Nothing else was gone, but so there occasionally people will, like we have in Cape Town in our national parks, occasionally once a year or so there'll be there'll be trouble, and the rest of the time it's safe. So it's very easy.
One thinks of a kind of support system like that. I mean, do people help each other out under those kind of circumstances? Do they, if someone does get robbed, do people kind of pull together and pass on a little bit cash? And
absolutely. If they're asked, they do. Some people will just volunteer it. But yes, there's incredible camaraderie, and within a day on the road, if you go on your own, which I highly recommend, the idea of going with another person has a lot of downsides in terms of your openness to experience, and also your openness to many hours alone early in the morning walking, where you get very important meditation, thinking, problem solving done. Yes.
It sounds beautifully reflective, and one can, as you said, that you can meet different types of people. And I think you were saying one of the advantages that if you do get stuck with someone you're not particularly keen on, you make a plan to just get up early and walk far and fast to to shed them as well. Mm. Now, when I hear stories of romance, of people meeting on the Camino, now I know that you've been happily married for many years, and your wife has joined you for short sections. She's never done the whole thing with you, is that right?
No, we've walked a total of about 800 kilometers together over the last 15 years.
Right.
But back to the romance, also in our family, my son, when I was around, met someone who he's getting married to here in Cape Town, probably in the next few days or so.
Oh, soon.
They've been together for 8 years. Thank you. And she was from Vienna, or is from Vienna, but she's staying here and studying and working here at the moment.
Right.
And I've seen others that it's just for the Camino, and then of course there are others that have multiple love affairs along the way. It's
right.
very conducive to that because things are very, you don't have the normal things of life weighing on you. You just have sore toes and sore knees, and to fall in love, I think, maybe takes the pain away. So.
Okay, now, the reasons why I should go are getting longer. That sounds like fun. But you can stop along the way and find places to eat. I mean, there are lots and lots of places where you can stay and eat and buy food. And I mean, it's just this whole network, isn't it, of support?
Yeah, especially the one we're talking about in northern Spain. Of course, as you get further away, in France and whatnot, it's much less catered for. But here you can walk often 5 kilometers and stop if you want. Normally people walk about 20 kilometers or so a day, but many people walk 15 or 35. I think my first Camino I tended towards 30 kilometers a day. But there are lots of little family restaurants and bars along the way where you can stop and have coffee many times a day. My son, young people often stop and have glasses of wine many times a day. So by the time they're finished, they're very happy or very tired or both.
That sounds so lovely. And did you have books? I mean, I know probably one doesn't want to travel with books, but did you read things about the Camino before you left that kind of inspired you?
Well, my friend inspired me, and she gave me Shirley MacLaine's book, which many people find a little bit soppy or whatever, but I really have time for Shirley MacLaine as a person as well. And Paulo Coelho wrote a book which I
The Pilgrimage.
myself didn't enjoy at all.
I found it a little kind of, yes, a little
and-
esoteric for me. It was a little strange.
But many people write them, and many people love writing about it. So there's an abundance of books out there to read. But on the Camino, you don't usually bring a book. You can always put as much as you want on your phone, but you find, or I find, most people find, that people and contemplation and being in this medieval environment is more than entertaining enough. And lights out is at 10 o'clock, so you only have
Curfew.
Yeah, curfew, absolutely. Big trouble if you're caught outside. No, you're meant out of courtesy, because many people get up at 5 in the morning and start walking.
Right.
So it accommodates that.
Okay.
So you're tired at the end of the day as well. So you don't have a lot of time that we fill in our normal daily life, where it's very different. You basically just are into the really nice essential things, which are people, contemplation, eating lovely dinners, having nice red Spanish wine thrown in. The meals are a very special time for pilgrims, because they're very hungry, and the meals in these family restaurants are very inexpensive, maybe 10 euros average, less or more, including free bottles of wine, often as many free bottles of wine with the meal of the day as you want, which can be very dangerous for the next morning at 5 in the morning.
Nothing worse. 5 o'clock in the morning with a hangover. So
Well,
there's a lot of parts of this, and then you end up in this wonderful, wonderful city, and you end up with, we haven't spoken about the Compostelo, the scallop shells, because that's kind of a little sign, isn't it, on the roads that people can be guided on the route that they have to take.
Yes, you follow the yellow arrows and the shape of the shell all the way to Santiago, and usually people stay there for a few days, go to the services. There are some special ones for the pilgrims, and
these are in the cathedral.
in the large cathedral, and there's one of the biggest, and I always forget the name, where incense is put in and it swings back and forth hypnotically and exudes this amazing smell throughout the cathedral. And then after that, people have a choice of either going home, or some crazy people, I shouldn't say that, but they walk back. And of course, then they have to face the crowd the whole way, which is disconcerting. But they're usually slightly mad, or they look slightly mad anyway. So I just say to myself, thank God that's not me.
But you mentioned the 3 extra days, because we got to tell people that they've got to reach Santiago, and then there is something more.
Yes, it's 100 kilometers inland, and traditionally people would walk to Finisterre, which is the end of the world. In those medieval days, the world wasn't round, and they would watch the sun go down the edge of the earth, or rather the edge of the sea, and disappear until the next morning. And they would burn their clothes in the rocks, and then dip themselves in the sea 7 times, waves coming over them, and then they would put on a new cloak that they had purchased 3 days before in Santiago.
Well,
that was a very common tradition. Most of us just burn something like our underwear, and that's good enough, and then go for a little dip.
Kent, this is wonderful. You've got me so excited about wanting to do the Camino, and I know that we can't go at the moment, but we need time to prepare ourselves physically, mentally, spiritually, but it certainly sounds like such a wonderful journey, and I know you've done many of them, and we could talk for so much longer. I just want to say thank you so much for coming and sharing with myself, with our viewers, and introducing us to the Camino. And I'm sure many of us are going to go off and get more books and to read about it and listen about it, and hopefully one day do that journey. Thank you, Kent, very much indeed.
Thank you, Gina.
Lovely to have you with us. So we're going to see you next week for another episode of Healthy Aging with Gina.